The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and they get
He missed the complete. That is crazy
Side by
stuff.
side, Freitas is on the grass on the infield floor. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck.
Hello and welcome to round 4 of the GreenValleyLake.com MX-5 World Tour, coming to you from the world famous Mount Panorama circuit in my home country, Australia. We are broadcasting live to YouTube and Twitch.tv on the Global Sim Racing channel. I'm Richard Losper, and with me in the booth today is Brian Corwin and Bill Zahn. Brian joined GSRC recently as a commentator and is doing a great job. Hi, Brian.
Hi, Richard. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm pretty good. Bill is also the organizer of this series. How, Bill?
Richard, thanks a lot. I'm really excited. It's going to be a great race for the viewers at home.
And our director is Giancarlo Lenzi, who will be pushing all the buttons and taking us through the action. Now, Brian, Mount Panorama, it is located near the town of Bathurst in New South Wales. It is a track that I personally love, being in my home country of Australia, and I have actually visited this track and driven on it. Tell the viewers a little bit about Mount Panorama.
Okay, well, Mount Panorama is located near the town of Bathurst in New South Wales, Australia. It is 4 miles long, or for these that go by kilometers, it is 6.213 kilometers and has 23 turns. Today's race will be about 28 laps, which will put us in the ballpark of about 75 minutes. The track is built around a mountain that is 2,800 feet tall, or high rather, and it features a mile-long downhill straight where these MX-5s will reach speeds of 130 miles per hour. The section across the mountain is very fast and quite scary, and the start of the downhill section takes in no less than 8 turns before starting down Conrad Straight. Richard?
Yeah, it is a track that people come from all over the world, professional drivers in real life, to drive on. A great track. But we do have a lap guide, and we will get our director Giancarlo to play that lap guide for you, and you'll have a lap around this place and see how scary it really is. Giancarlo?
All right, let's do a lap around Mount Panorama Circuit with Richard Losper behind the wheel of the GSRC MX-5. Coming across the start-finish line up towards turn 1, Hell Corner. Very important corner to get right and start off your lap with. 90-degree left-hander that dumps you right onto the mountain straight. Uphill, very long, over a kilometer long, which means if you don't get your exit right, you're going to be vulnerable for a long time. And to top it off, these MX-5s have a lot of draft, so that guy behind you is going to have so much pull. Up over the crest, and now you're heading towards Griffin's Bend. Very fast uphill right-hander. Going to be so important to carry your speed through here. You can see the grade increase visibly. Make sure not to understeer too much on exit, because that wall is right there ready to bite you. Now, further uphill, up towards the cutting. Flat out through this little kink left-hander, and then brake and utilize this increase in grade to really give your car grip. A little bit of a bump on the right side here, but the MX-5 handles it just fine. On through Quarry we go. And then you're going to have to hold your line just right up through this next series of corners. Going side by side is really not advisable. You are flat to the floor this whole time, and they are blind crests just to boot, so it's going to be very tricky to try and battle it out with someone. Little bit of a lift through this last left-hander, and then it takes you towards Skyline. Braking just as you get to the crest, and then down through the S's. Now we're heading downhill, and it takes you right into the dipper. Car is going to get a little bit unsteady through here, but stay brave. Further downhill, towards Forest Elbow. Heavy braking once more with the track dropping away from you. Try and hug that inside wall and get on the power as soon as you can, but don't get too greedy because that outside wall is right there. Now, on to the Conrad Straight, all downhill, and yet again with this long straightaway, draft battles are gonna play a factor. But you'll see it leads you into the chase. Gotta try and weigh your options. Is it worth trying to go side by side? Is the guy with you gonna play nice and give you some room here? Look at this right-hander, flat out all the way through, and then it takes you right into the braking for this chicane. A little bit of a blind crest here as you go through, but take it all the way out to the curbing, and then track out as you head towards the pit entrance. Really got to practice that pit entry, by the way, because there's a little chicane that's very slippery and very tricky. Now, Murray's Bend, final corner. Deceptively hard to get that little 90-degree left-hander right, but that finishes your lap around Bathurst.
Welcome back to Mount Panorama. You've just seen a lap around this place, and it is definitely a track that is very long and very, very scary. So, Bill, 3 rounds have been completed so far. Talk us through the current standings. Who's hot and who's not?
Okay, we still got a pretty good race going on here, but it's early yet, but it's pretty tight. Richard Eklund, who's here today, sits on the top there with an 11-point lead over Jal Freitas. Now, Jan Koemans, the 3-time champion, is not here today, but he won't be hurt too bad because the point system allows him to miss a few races. 4th is Thomas Hollonen. He's not here today either. Timo Tuliainen is in 5th. Sergio Mora is here. They're both here. Yuri Yanis in 7th. Amjad Yaman in 8th. And Thomas Zabo in 9th are all here. Even Sam McAleer in 10th is here. Now, the guy you got to watch out for is our mystery man, Oki Stokenberger. He's going to start outside the front row today. He's very fast, and he's very mysterious. Back to you, Rich.
Okay, so I'm getting information that we just have 2 minutes left in the warm-up, so we'll have to push along here. I'll come to you, Brian, and ask you what are the keys to this race, if you can just make it brief. And that is brought to you by Cozy Cabins in Green Valley Lake, high in the San Bernardino Mountains in South California.
Richard, I'm going to make this really quick because we're running out of time. The 3 keys of the race today are going to be managing traffic. There isn't enough room here to play mind games and try to get inside and, weasel your way around. So if you make a commitment to a pass, you better commit to that pass or you're going to be finding yourself in the wall. Which goes to my next point, avoid the walls. And finally, the 3rd point, when you come up to the dipper, which is that little downhill shift that kind of goes through like an S-turn and down to Forest Elbow or Bend, you have to commit to the dipper. If you get a bad pedestrian entry in there, you're going to be finding the wall again. So these are a very tricky track. You got to find your way around here and be smart, be patient, and hopefully traffic will work to your favor. Richard?
Yeah, thanks for that, Brian. It is, the walls tend to feel like they're closing in on you all the way through the cutting and all the way to the top of the mountain. It's only when you get onto Skyline that it clears up a little bit. Anyway, we still have a little bit of time. There's about a minute left in the warm-up session. So, Bill, do we know what the quick 6 grid is for today yet?
Yes, we do. Let me see if I can find that for you. Caught me by surprise there, but things. At the top of the chart is I lost it. But let me talk about this. Let me go to a different subject. We talked about the walls. This is a street course. Am I right about that, Richard? I mean, you can actually drive on these roads, right?
Absolutely. You can, about 360 days of the year, this is just a normal road wending its way through the countryside. It is for 5 days every year that they turn it into a racetrack, Bill.
So for those drivers, those viewers at home, what they need to do compared to a purpose-built racetrack, which has grass runoffs and sand traps and stuff, they need to keep the cars out of people's backyards. So they have walls, and as you'll watch them as they come up the hill, they're driving in a canyon. If a driver gets off, they're going to bounce back onto the track in front of traffic, and I really think that could be a big factor in the race. Not so much your mistake, but the mistakes that you get caught up in. Okay, they're good right now. Rich?
All right, well, it seems like the warm-up session has completed. There'll still be a little while they start the gridding session. They are gridding as we speak, so we can now start to go through the grid, and we'll have to make that real quick. So, Brian, can you take us through the first few?
Certainly. Starting off today will be Uros Jolenko, followed by OK Stokenberger. Do I have this list right? Let me confirm that real quick. And then we got Thomas Lebo, Jared Yanis, Yal Freitas, Richard Eklund, followed by Amjad Yaman, Timo Tulianen's in 8th, Sergio Mora in 9th, and Tom Rathie in 10th. Richard?
11th place, Joshua Lloyds. 12th, Dujan Boldrin, Arthur Chan in 13th, Jake Tucker in 14th, Sam McAleer in 15th, Stefan Overgaard in 16th, George Fike in 17th, Trevor Mack as we see them, and green flag has flown. Uros Jolenko leads them away with Oki Stokenberger behind him, Tomas Zabo in 3rd place. They head towards turn number 1, Hell's Corner it's called. All nice and clean through there at the moment. All the way back, Yal Freitas, Jay Yanis in 4th, Yal Freitas in 5th. Richard Eklund on the back of Yal Freitas there in 6th place. I believe, Bill, that you've asked them to keep it clean through the first few turns up the hill.
Let's see how they do. They've been warned about it. And I'm looking at a 3-wide situation in mid-pack with Misan Masison. Oh, my goodness. Misan Masison, Kim Vitar, and Sky Willis. We'll see how they do.
Well, I've just seen an overtaking move right there from Sergio Mura on Timo Tulianen, who in turn is coming up on the back of Amjad Yaman, and he falls into line right there. So at this point in time, they're all good. Everybody's in line. We seem to have Uros Jolenko checking out a little bit. He's got quite a gap on Oki Stokenberger at this point in time. Tomas Zabo still sitting in 3rd place. I know Tomas is very, 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 very fast at this place, so we shall see if he can make up some spots. Brian, you seeing anything?
Yeah, like you said, Uros Jolenko is kind of checking out. He's not so far away yet, but I think his pace and consistency that we've been seeing over the last couple of weeks is really going to come into play here. He's a great driver. He has a good head on his shoulders. Right up behind him, we got Oki Stokenberger, the mystery man, followed by Thomas Zabo and Jared Yanis. These guys are a little bit closer together. They're weaving through these corners, their ins and outs through the walls, and they're just having a good old time here. Right now, we're coming through the Forest Elbow and then back down to the Bathurst Light Kart Club, long straight down through Conrad Straight. So it's going to be interesting to see how these guys do when all that weight's loaded to the front of their cars coming around this dog leg here, and make sure they get their braking points right, because if they don't, they're going to be piling up right there at the bottom of that hill, Richard.
Yeah, that's right, and they're coming around to complete the first lap very, very soon, going down through the chase now into the SS part. Now, Bill, this is the first time we're running this track in any of the 6 series, correct?
Yeah, it's brand new to the service, and we put an endurance race here so they could get a little more time on it. We had a pretty clean wrap, Richard. Everything went well. Sky Willis hit the wall, and I think he may be, I'm not sure with the renew damage if he's going to be able to get back in the race, but all in all, it was a pretty clean lap.
Well, at the moment, we have a challenge in the 6th place here. We've got Yal Freitas and Jay Yanis side by side going into Hell's Corner. Yal hangs onto it on the inside, Jay Yanis on the outside, Richard Eklund behind them, looking to take both places away if he can. He now goes side by side with Yal Freitas, just slightly behind him. Jay Yanis still ahead of him. A big challenge on here from Richard Eklund. Brian?
Yeah, right now I'm watching Yal Freitas coming up here to Quarry Bend, up the Long Mountain Straight. It's amazing how the draft really comes into play here, even going up the hill in these little Mazda MX-5s. The huge pack behind them. It looks like a heavyweight boxing match from way back in the day, where you got all these powerhouse drivers all a little bunched up into these corners. And like I said, there's not a lot of room to play mind games here. And now you got all these fast guys that are just looking to get past each other, and there's just nowhere to go, which is giving the guys up front like Uros Jolenko, Oki Stokenberger, and Thomas Zabo a really good chance to just kind of pull away and take a breath and relax and let these guys back there have all the drama while they can just, get a good pace, get into their rhythm, get into their flow. And that's really going to be a big factor in this race. I think if Thomas Szabo and Oki Stokenberger, even Juros Jelenko gets away from the pack, it's going to be really hard to catch up with them again later on when traffic becomes more of a factor, when the tires start wearing down and the cars get lighter with the lack of fuel. Richard, what do you think the strategy is going to be here today?
Well, I tell you what, the strategy of everybody here is to win this race. All the fast guys want to do it. They're going up the mountain and through the mountain, through the cutting, and then through all the other sections. There is no place to pass. The track is far too twisty for anything to take place there. Your best overtaking maneuvers are on the more open areas of the track. So, the strategy of these guys is going to be interesting. This is an endurance race, so it is not try and get as fast and as quickly past the next guy as you can. You do have some time here, Bill, and hopefully these guys will realize that and have a little bit of patience.
Sorry, Bill, I just want to jump in real quick. It looks like Oki Stokenberger coming down the Conrad Straight made a pass for the lead over Juros Jelenko. We know how fast this guy is. If you remember back to Indianapolis, he was just lights out in practice and qualifying, and now today it looks like he's throwing down that heavyweight pressure again, coming onto the front straight, crossing the start-finish line. We'll get an update here in the live timing as they come into turn 1, also known as Hell Corner, and then going back up to the mountain straight. Sorry to cut you off, Bill. I'll let you get back to your point.
No, that's great. When we have something going on in the lead, let's stay up there. Let's see if we can go back and look in the midfield here for a minute. Let's go back to Trevor Mack, back in 15th spot. He's in a battle with Sam McAleer. Now, McAleer's the Season 3 champion, but he's been struggling a little bit the last couple seasons. McAleer's in that orange MX-5, and Trevor Mack, of course, is in the McDonald's car. And then right behind that is Stefan Overgaard in that kind of blue and white car. Real quickly here, if I can talk about the pit strategy. If you were to buy a Miata off the showroom floor, the gas tank would be 13.5 gallons. What is virtually done here is they've blocked out about 10 gallons of the tank. So these guys are driving with a little tiny 3.6 gallon tank. They can go 12 laps on this racetrack, so they're going to have to pit twice. So they can pit as early as lap 4, and then add 12 to that is 16, add 12 more laps to that is 28. So you can see pit stops anywhere between lap 4 and 12, and then again somewhere between, lap 16 and 28. Okay, back to you, Rich.
Okay, now that is interesting with the endurance factor in play here at this track. 2 pit stops as opposed to the normal 1 pit stop. That's going to make life extremely interesting. So it is going to come down, and I thought that you said it well there, Brian. Pit strategy is going to be key in this race. As we see Trevor Mack go really wide there, it's going to be key, as we say, the pit stops, and I'm just wondering who will be the best at it. So back to the front of this field where, in fact, Oki Stokenberger is leading this race, and behind him, Juros Jelenko. And in third place, Thomas Szabo. That's your top 3 at the moment. Yao Freitas a little way back. Sergio Moura. And Jay Yanis now putting a challenge on Sergio Moura for the 4th place. Coming down the hill, Brian, what is going to happen here?
I'm not really quite sure there, Richard. Right now, I'm actually watching the Juros Jelenko and Stokenberger battle as Thomas Szabo is even looking in behind him, trying to get a run on him. It looks like he's got a good draft and a good run coming down here into Murray's Corner, back onto the start-finish line. We're going to have a 3-way battle going for the lead here. It's really going to make a difference to see if someone wants to try and go inside when we get back up around Corey's Bend, because that's going to be one of the best overtaking spots on the track. And, now it looks like Yao Freitas is trying to get in line here. And these guys are just going to keep piling on and using the draft to their advantage, remember, the more cars you get lined up, the faster the air is able to pass over the car, and thus the cars get closer and closer together. It's kind of like a vacuum effect. I've gotten a few updates here that Sky Willis, don't say Skyler, as Bill Zahn always says, may have spun off and got some damage into the wall. And I'm also looking here that Tulianen was off at the chase and he lost a few spots. So I'm getting yelled at here for calling him Skylar, but anyways, back to the battle here. Jelenko is making a huge push on Stokenberger. Richard, what do you think is going to happen when we get back up here into the mountains?
Well, anything could happen. These guys are very fast and they are all wanting to race each other. This track is made for that type of racing. You got those long straights and then you've got the really tricky portion through the mountains. So it's going to be a great race. I want to check in with Richard Eklund, who is down in 6th place. Now, Richard Eklund is our leader in the championship at this point in time, Brian. And at this moment sitting in 6th place. Very unusual for him.
I'm actually showing Richard Eklund in 9th place, and he's not doing that bad right now. I think he's just kind of trying to keep a cooler head on his shoulders. He realizes that this is going to be a 75-minute race, and you look up ahead and you see Joshua Lloyd's kind of going off into the dirt off to the side, and you know this track is prone to drama. So what I think he's trying to do is just sit back and wait for the right moment to maybe make a push for 8th place and work his way up the field. Remember, here it's going to be about attrition and finding your gaps and playing the field right. And I think right now he has the right strategy. He's not slowing down and losing the pace, but also he's not trying to do anything stupid here in the early laps in this race.
Well, correct. He is in 9th place. I apologize for that mistake. That is not the Richard Eklund I know. Richard Eklund is one of the hardest chargers in sim racing, and to find him back in 9th place is most unusual, wouldn't you say, Bill?
Yeah, I can add some to the Eklund story. He was considering sitting out this race because he wasn't comfortable at the track. At qualifying, he posted the 2nd fastest qualifying time. So I think he was more confident, but clearly he's having trouble. He's not comfortable. Now, he's also very talented, so 75 minutes is a long time. Look for him to be better in the last 15 minutes than he is in the first 15 minutes. Back to you, Rich.
Yes, well, he's certainly putting a challenge on Joshua Lloyd in front of him at this point in time as they go across the start-finish line to complete lap number 4. They're on lap number 5 right now. Joshua Lloyd, how long can he keep him out? I wonder. He is still ahead of him at this stage, but Richard Eklund in the draft now as they go up the hill. Joshua Lloyd goes to the center of the track, and then he goes to the left, and Richard Eklund goes to the right. He pulls up alongside of him at this point in time. It looks to me like he will take that position. That'll put him up into 8th place, and in fact he does it quite easily in the end there, Brian.
Yeah, and right now I'm looking at Richard Eklund, and let's see, who is he battling here? It looks like right behind him is Timo Tuliainen. You remember Tuliainen last week put up that huge battle with Jans Koeman. Jans isn't here today. He's on a business/pleasure trip, as Bill was saying in the interview, but it's just amazing to see him back here in 9th place after such a strong run at Laguna Seca.
That's correct. And just to make mention of the fact that Timo Tuliainen is driving the Eagle's Nest Tavern paint scheme on his car. So good on you, Eagle Nest Tavern. Timo Tuliainen is another person that I am surprised at how far back they are. This track, many people who are really fast drivers on the shorter tracks may find that some of the less fancy drivers are faster than they are on this very, very long track, Bill.
Yeah, Timo had a little trouble earlier in the race. He lost a few positions. They're getting close to the pit window here. I was talking with Arthur Chan before the race about the possible pit strategies. And one idea was to come in early now, get out of traffic where you can run some clean laps. And then you're going to look at people pitting at lap 4, lap 16, and then that should get them all the way to the end. The other option is to run this thing as long as you can. But look for some guys to be coming in early here. We'll have to keep an eye on it, and I'll keep track of them so that I don't get confused like I did last race.
Okay, well, we just need to go through some of the standings here a little bit, Brian, and just tell the viewers who's leading and say the first five, and then we'll get a good idea of where things are at.
Well, it's a good time to do that because we're crossing the straight finish line. It's going to update our live time in here. It looks like Oki Stogenberger is in the lead, followed by Thomas Szabo. He had a off early in the race at Laguna Seca last week, and it's really good to see him running consistent here up in the front. Back behind Zabo, we got Yao Freitas. He was kind of stuck off in third place last week at Laguna, but here today he's all over the back of these guys up in the front, and it looks like Uros Jelenko, who started off in the front of the race, has actually moved down to fourth place, and following close by behind there is Sergio Mora and Amjad Yamin. Richard?
Yeah, this is where I believe the next battle will be. Sergio Mura closes up behind Uros Jelenko as we speak. The other guys in front of him, they all seem to be fairly bunched as we see just ahead of Uros Jelenko. We see Yao Freitas kind of stalking Tomas Zabo, but I tell you, we didn't have an opportunity to ask you guys in the beginning who you might fancy to win this race. I'll start with you, Bill. Who do you think might win this race?
Well, I'm going to have... Well, okay. I hate to be boring, but I'm going to have to go with the mystery man, Stokenberger. We don't know who he is. We don't know why he's so fast, but we know one thing. He's fast. So the one question mark with Stokenberger is, does he know how to make a pit stop? And that's where you could see some of these more experienced drivers have the advantage. Back to you, Rich.
Okay, that is an interesting point. Oki Stokenberger may well be very fast in a sprint situation, but as you just mentioned, pit stops. As we see Sergio Mura making the move on Uros Jelenko down Conrad Straight. He passes him very cleanly. Uros Jelenko, Brian, did he have a problem somewhere, or is he just not as fast as the other guys?
Well, I haven't seen any drama out of him today. I just think he knows that early in the race is not the time to get wrapped up in a wall or, into an off-track situation. So, at this time, I think he might just be conceding the position, knowing that we got a long ways to go. Pit strategy is going to come into play. As I say that, Sergio Mora kind of dips his tires off into the grass. Yao Freitas, too, he's making a very conservative, but at the same time, kind of aggressive. I don't even know how he can even do that. He's pushing hard, but he knows when to push and when to kind of sit back, and that's really going to come into his favor today, bouncing back from just kind of being out in no man's land last week there, Richard.
Yeah, and let me put it on you, Brian. Who do you think is going to win this race?
Well, last week I kind
of... Hang on, just a moment there, guys. I just saw Oki Stokenberger go straight ahead instead of taking Hell's Corner. So something's happened to Oki Stokenberger.
I watched it happen. He got wide in the wall. It looked like he got wide. It might have been Hell Corner, and he could have ruined his steering. And it looks like he had nowhere to go. He just put it right in the wall.
And he's still parked right there at the wall. We are getting a replay of what happened there. He just went straight ahead, and now we have Tomas Zabo leading this race and Yao Freitas in second. That was most unusual, Bill, to see somebody not even attempt to make the turn.
No, well, I think it happened the quarter before. I don't think we caught it in the replay. I think it happened. He went wide and got on the wall. I think he hurt a suspension, or maybe he just fell asleep. So it's kind of hard to tell. But what I'd like to do now is make my pick to win the race. Will be Yao Freitas. Sorry about my previous pick. Back to you, Rich.
Actually,
that is a rather quick change there, my friend. Back to the racing. Tomas Zabo now leading Brian from Yao Freitas.
Yeah, I was just talking about Yao Freitas, and right when I clicked over to see what was going on with Oki Stokenberger, he was kind of cutting off there. So I apologize if I gave him the commentator's curse. It seems to be a thing with the GSRC. I know I'm new here, but I've seen it happen plenty of times, so it is real. Be careful, drivers out there on the track. I'm going to make my pick right now. I'm going to follow Bill's on with this one. I think Yao Freitas is going to be looking to bounce back and really just throw down and get all the points he can get this week. He's a very good, consistent driver, like I said, and honestly, Zabo is a fast driver, and I like him a lot too, but I just think Freitas is going to have a little more muscle this week. I don't know what it is. I'm going with my gut, but Yao Freitas to win this one.
Okay, that's locked in. I guess I have to make a choice as well. Now, the thing that I'm thinking about here, guys, is who knows how to do pit stops. Now, Tomas Zabo has been in the series for a little while. We've seen him pretty much mess up a couple of pit stops. Sergio Mura, on the other hand, has been very canny with his pit stops, Bill. I'm going to put my money on Sergio Mura to win this one.
Yeah, when Sergio first came into the league, that was his Achilles heel, but he's gotten much better at it. Right now I'm watching Reno Tanny. He's blown an engine. He's limping it around trying to get out of the people's way. Let's go back to Oki Stokenberger. He's still parked there. Now, if he made a mistake, he would have exited and this car would have magically blinked away off the track. The fact that his damaged car is still sitting on the track leads me to believe that he probably had a hardware-related issue, which is kind of fortunate that his car is off the track where it isn't a problem for drivers getting out of the way. Back to you, Richard.
Yeah, that's a very good point you make there, Bill. Yeah, if he's had some sort of hardware problem where his computer's frozen or something like that, and bear in mind this is sim racing, folks, you are dependent on a computer and an internet connection to make this thing happen. So as we watch Reno Tani still struggling back to the pits with smoke coming out of the back of his car, so he's obviously had contact with either another car or the wall. So his race is pretty much over as he struggles to get around the corner there before the run down to Murray's corner. And at this point, guys, we should take stock of where we are. So what are you seeing that is interesting at the moment, Brian?
I'm just kind of reading our spotters notes down here, and I think what's really interesting is, are these guys doing too much abuse to their engines too early in the race, or their transmissions rather? If I remember right, if my memory serves me right, Steve Tingle blew an engine earlier in the race, and then I guess Tom Rathy's race is completely over right now. And then we got word coming down the pipeline that another driver had blown his engine. Let me see if I could find the name of that driver. Anyway, Reno Tanny is the driver that also blew his engine. So you guys, I think they really have to be careful about when they shift and how much RPMs they got going through their engines at the time when they shift, because a blown engine's not going to win you the race. The first step to winning a race is finishing it. So, Richard, have you any experience driving the MX-5 here at this track? Can you tell us a little bit like what's going through the drivers' minds when they're coming up to approach a track like this in such a small car?
Well, I have got a fair bit of experience driving on this track in the MX-5. I don't understand, in fact, why we have a situation where people have blown their engines. It's the gear changes are pretty straightforward on this track, so I don't quite understand that part of it. But we are having some weird problems. Arthur Chan has received an unacceptable throughput level, which means his internet connection has dropped out. And he's come back into the race now, trying to reconnect, so his race is pretty much over. A lot of stuff happening at the moment unrelated to racing, Bill.
Yeah, I'm back here looking at Stefan Overgaard. He's in a battle with Simon Van Doon. These are both two respectable drivers. Maybe not your top-tier drivers, but well, they're top-tier drivers in any other series than this one. And they're in a good battle right now. You'll see Overgaard is in the blue car there, and ahead of him is Simon Van Doon in the white and yellow car with a little bit of blue trim. Now ahead of those guys is, I think, a lapped car of, let me see
Thomas
who that
Torp.
is there. Oh, is that, yes. Is he a lap down or is he battling for a position? He is.
No, that's for position.
That's for a position. So we have a 3-car race there. Thomas Torp is in that kind of, what color is that there, Richard? Kind of a gray colored car? Come on, Thomas, let's be more creative than that one. So that's a good battle going on as they go through. They're going through the uphill now.
Yeah, they're going up into the cutting at this stage. They're still only following each other. At this stage, there is no challenge on at this point in time. Simon Van Doon's car has got a big dent in the back, so obviously he has had contact with another car. You can't get that from a wall unless you've backed it into the wall. So another car's hit him. I wonder if that was, in fact, Stefan Overgaard. We'll have to wait and see. Brian, what are you seeing at this moment?
Right now, Jake Tucker is aggressively all over the back of Trevor Mack. If you remember last week, Trevor Mack had some damage when he went off the track into the wall, and unfortunately, it pretty much ended his race. He had a lot of damage to take care of, and it just really kind of put a damper on his day. I just got word that Timo Tuliainen hit the wall in Forest Elbow. So we'll have to go look at the pits and see if his car looks mangled. But back to this battle here with Jake Tucker. He is really looking to try and get this 11th spot. I don't know if he's driving too aggressive this part of the race, but we're about a half hour in, maybe around 25 minutes, so maybe this is a good time to try and get some positions and then beat him into the pits and maybe hopefully try to get him on the way out of the pits. Richard?
Yeah, and we need to go back to the lead as we're getting information that Jalfredis is challenging Tomas Zabel, and this is for the lead. At this point in time, Bill, it doesn't seem as if anybody has gone into the pits, particularly of the leaders. But let's stay with this battle for a while here, because this is for the lead. Tomas Zabel leading Jalfredis right behind him as they go up mountain straight. And this is on lap number 10. We've had just on 25 minutes in the race. Jalfredis moves to the outside. He's covered by Tomas Zabel, who now goes to the outside. They fall back into line as they go up through towards the cutting. At this stage, Jalfred is just holding station there, Brian.
Yeah, I'm actually getting word. I want to jump back to Stefan Overgaard, excuse me. There was a battle going on for position right in front of him, and he just kind of stepped aside and overtook both of them. So he made up some good positions there. That's going to be some good ground, and with his pace, he's doing great. It is worth mentioning that Stefan Overgaard raced in the Endurance Pro Series race earlier, which was, I believe, somewhere in the ballpark at 2 hours, a 2.5 hour long race at Daytona International in his Corvette. So he might be a little fatigued today. By the end of the day, he has two really long races back to back with almost no time to take a rest. We wish him the best and hope that he has a great race. He's a well-liked driver here in this series. He's one of the favorites by all the fans. So, right now he's throwing down some brilliant moves, and I just really want to see that pay off for him. He's having a great race today there, Richard.
Yes, well, back to the front of this race where it's actually turning into a four-car battle at this point in time. Tomas Zabel still leading as they go down Conrad Straight. This is possibly where we'll see Jalfredis make a move. He's not just close enough at this point in time as they go towards the chase. Behind them, Sergio Mora, not very far behind at all, and Uros Jelenko just behind Sergio. So these four are now getting to the business end of this race, Bill, with the fact being that there's not that much time left.
Well, let's talk strategy here for a minute. We talked earlier about pit stops. I'm not sure if you're Jalfredis, you can afford to come in because you don't want to lose the draft. Now, he's sitting behind Zabel. He's using less gas every lap. Every lap it's less. It's not a lot, but every lap it's less. In theory, he's going to be able to take less fuel at the end of the race, while Zabel may have to take more. So you may see the pass in the pits. Freitas is pretty smart that way. And keep an eye back there in 5th place. Gaining on these guys is Yuri Yanis in the Chicago Blackhawks car. And very back right behind them, sitting in 6th place is Richard Eklund. Quietly putting in the laps. Look for him to get a top 5 by the time we're done here.
Yeah, well, 11 laps gone, 28 lap races, so they're not quite halfway yet. I mentioned earlier that there's not much time left. What I meant was that there's not much time left before they will have to pit and complete the first of their pit stops. At the moment, I don't know what is going through the minds of this top 4 drivers, but I'm just wondering when they will start thinking about pit stops, because it's getting around to that time right now, as Bill said, anywhere between lap 4 and lap 12. So it's got to be close to the end of their fuel run.
Yeah, it's got to be coming. It's got to be coming, if not this time by, next time by, because this track is 4 miles long. You can't sputter at home. If you miss your pit window, you're going to run out of gas somewhere a long way away from where your suitcase is.
I'm I'm going to break in
right.
real quick, Richard. Sorry, I'm getting some information here that it looks like Sam McAleer hit the wall pretty hard, and now Anthony Salentano in the driver chat window said hi to the Skyline wall after he got loose in the curbing. Looks like he's going to have about 6 minutes to repair. I'm watching this battle up here with Yal Freitas. These guys in the front four are not slowing down. They're not giving each other any room. It kind of reminisces back to last week when we saw the same kind of thing out of Jans Koeman and Timo Tuliainen. These guys are fighting really hard, again, using up every inch of track they can. Yal Freitas has dropped a tire off here and there on the safer parts of the track, which goes to suggest that maybe Bill's theory about him trying to sit back and save fuel isn't the case. Maybe he's trying to find a way through, and he just can't find that spot yet. Right behind Yal Freitas, we got Sergio Mora trying to make a move on him. It looks like he had to check up just a little bit harder to get through the corner without any contact with Yal Freitas. And, of course, Uros Jelenko, our race fast guy in qualifying. Oh, excuse me, we're all diving down into the pits. We got the front 4 or 5 drivers. It looks like even Yanis is coming in with them. All 4 of them are going to the pits. Bill, tell us what we're going to expect here on pit lane.
They're all coming in. Let's see who's going to be the fastest out of here. Now, my guess is going to be Yanis. Now, they're going to fill this thing up to the top, so it's not like they're having any stretch. Well, in theory, I guess they could. No. Yeah, I guess they could take less here. Somebody could short fill and get out early and then come back in for a quick stop. So let's see who's going to get out of here first. Man, they are all in there. They're all parked. I don't think tires are going to be an issue. I do see some. It looks like Jelenko's taking the right side tires. That surprises me because it takes a while for these tires to get warm. I think the theory is that he's going to lose time in that. By the time they warm up, it's not going to be a benefit. They're still waiting. It looks like nobody is short pitting. They're all filling it up, and the first one out is Jelenko right ahead of Freitas. So they come out the same order they went in, with Mora in third, and it looks like Amjad Yaman is going to have 4th spot.
It looks like
Rich.
Actually, no, that's incorrect. Tomas Szabo came out first, and he is now leading this race. The next one was Yal Freitas. Yal Freitas actually started out of his pit stall first. Just behind Yal Freitas, we've got Sergio Mora trying up on the outside. They are very, very close, nearly 3 wide, going up.
Sergio Mora went wide.
Amjad Yaman, a brilliant pass on Sergio Mora, moves up into 3rd place. Sergio Mora lets him take that position because there's no good thing that can happen from fighting as you're going up towards the tight part of the course. So your leader is Tomas Szabo. Yal Freitas just behind him. Amjad Yaman up into 3rd place. Great move from him. Great pit stop. Sergio Mora in 4th place. Richard Eklund has moved up into 5th place. He's just a little way behind these guys. He came out slightly slower than they did from the pits there, Brian. So at this point in time, everything's changed up, but the leader stays the same. It is Tomas Szabo.
Yeah, we actually got word that one of our drivers, who was it? It was Giannis, got a speeding penalty, and that's why he dropped back a little bit. Right now, we're going to go on board with Sergio Mora and see what the battle looks like through his eyes. As you said, Amjad Yaman was pitting early and got a bunch of spots back, and then Yal Freitas is right in front of him with Tomas Szabo leading the pack down the hill and towards the chase, which is a very tricky corner of the track. Like I said, when you're coming down the hill at these speeds, not only do you have to worry about blowing out your transmission, slowing down, hopefully that won't be the case, but you also have to worry about the weight shifting to the front of the car. It's very hard to stop cars when you are loaded up on these front tires, and with the lack of downforce the MX-5 has compared to some of the faster cars that race here, it's very tricky to kind of manage the draft and traffic while also battling for spots in these downhill corners of the track. Right now it looks like Amjad Yaman is looking to make a move on Yal Freitas. Freitas moves over to the left to take a defensive position going down to the start-finish line, and it looks like Sergio Mora is putting his nose in. He doesn't get it. Freitas blocks him off now. They go down to the start-finish line. Tomas Szabo holds his line, Freitas, and followed by Amjad Yaman. Man, it's a mouthful. We got all sorts of cars just racing here. Coming up behind them, we have Uros Jelenko and Richard Eklund. These guys are battling out. They do not want to give up any positions on this track. They know how hard it is to pass here. And Sergio Mora goes wide. Richard, I'm going to let you come back here while I get a break and a breath of air here. This is some excitement. We got damaged cars everywhere. We got traffic forming up everywhere. Richard, what are you seeing right now?
And Sergio Mora did have a little bubble. He overtook Amjad Yaman. Amjad Yaman has come back at him as they go up mountain straight towards Griffin's Bend. And Sergio Mura on the inside. Amjad on the outside has to back it down. Sergio Mura takes back the place. And up ahead of them, we still have João Freitas and Tomás Szabo battling hard for the first place. They are on full fuel, having full fuel is 3.6 gallons or something. But the battle is on for first place. The battle is on for third place. Richard Eklund starting to join the fray. Bill, this is a terrific race thus far.
Right, and you know what? I misspoke when I identified Jelenko instead of Szabo, but they did come out in the same order they went in, with the exception of Amjad Yaman. Now he's gotten the moniker of the doctor by our fellow commentator Joe Peak for his strategy in the pits. I have a hunch, since he jumps so many positions, it's possible he may have short fueled. So I'm going to guess that he's going to pit earlier than the pack that he's in right now. But that may work out for him in the long run. Boy, the action up front is really exciting, and there's Richard Eklund now in 5th place. Every time we come to him, he's another spot higher. Back to you, Rich.
That's correct, and none of these guys are out of it. All the way back to Uros Jelenko. Jay Yanis, who was part of this group as well, dropped back a little bit because of the speeding penalty that he had, so he's got a lot of work to do.
Richard, I need to break in. We have João Freitas going down into the chase. He looks to take the lead over Tomás Szabo. He just put his nose out there and said goodbye. He just took off, and it looks like the run's going to carry on. Sorry, Richard, we're going to go back to you.
No, well done, well called there. Tomás Szabo has not given it up. Sorry, go ahead.
Richard, it was Richard Eklund went into the back. It looks like it might have been Sergio Mora. I'm trying to find it. It was Amjad Yaman. Okay, Mora. From at first view, it looked like Eklund was broke late, and Eklund broke late, hit Mora, and then Mora went into Yaman. So we'll see where they are in the standings right now. I think Eklund came out the best of it out of the three.
Well, that is correct. I'm looking at Amjad Yaman at the moment. He's just going around turn 1. He's got damage on the left side, but his car seems to be okay. In front of him, Sergio Mora's got damage on the back. That is fairly minor by the looks of it, but you never can tell with these cars. And in front of him, Uros Jelenko. Richard Eklund has overtaken Uros Jelenko. And Richard Eklund has moved himself up into 3rd place behind Szabo and João Freitas at this point in time, Bill.
Well, yeah, he moved himself up by moving people out of the way. Both Mora went into the wall. I think he's going to have damage, and Yaman's car doesn't look good either. That's too bad. Eklund's been having a bit of a trouble here, and he got caught for a penalty at Indy, and then he picked up another penalty. That's not like Richard. He's a pretty clean driver. He got another penalty at Silverstone. So I'm not on IRT duty this week, and that may be a good thing because Richard may be looking at serving a pass-through penalty, a stop-and-go penalty next race. Back to you, Rich.
Okay, well, you would be the person to know about things like that. But Richard Eklund has got Uros Jelenko stalking him right now. And if he's got any damage out of those contacts that you mentioned earlier, then I think it won't be too long and Uros Jelenko will have him. As they now go down towards Forest Elbow, let's see what happens. Can Uros Jelenko get a really good exit, which he does? They both do, actually. Now they go down the hill. He's in the draft. Let's see if he can make up some time, Brian, on Richard Eklund and possibly take that position away from him.
You know, it's going to be really close, and it looks like he's about to make the move here. Uros Jelenko is looking inside. Does he get him? I think he's going to try and outbreak him on the inside. It is worth mentioning that João Freitas has kind of checked out here. Oh, we're getting a little close here. I'm going to go back to the battle here with Richard Eklund there, side by side, coming into the last corner here. They're very tight. They're coming down to the last corner, and it looks like Richard Eklund is now going to take over 3rd position and run with it. What I was about to say before this battle broke out again was João Freitas took the lead, obviously, and Tomás Szabo is kind of just slipping back very slowly. I don't know if he clipped the wall or if maybe his pace is just getting the better of him. it looks like Yao Freitas is just gonna carry on with the lead here. Just a quick note here, it looks like Sam McAleer and Reno Tani have both disconnected from the race, and they're ready to give it up for the day. So obviously with the damage a lot of these cars are having, it's gonna be a race of attrition, Richard. And I guess that's what we said in the notes: avoid the walls. And these guys haven't been able to do that for the most part. And this is what we're gonna see out of the race.
Yes, and I'm getting information that Bill is ready to do the back marker salute. So over to you, Bill.
Okay, this is the 60-second back marker salute brought to you by Eagle's Nest Cavern in Green Valley Lake. So if you're in that area, stop on in, say hello to Mike, have him pour you one of his many beers. Okay, we're going to start our back marker salute with Garth Prentice. He's in the number 30 car. Currently, he's the last car on the lead lap. He's in that yellow car running all by himself. Garth's from New Zealand. Last week I misspoke and said he was from Australia, and I know those Kiwis don't like it when you make that mistake. Let's go up one position to Sky. Don't call him Skylar Willis. Sky, there's been some talk in the forums, and if Sky is a man or a woman, a male or a female, I would like to announce right now that Skylar is indeed a male. So Skylar, congratulations on your genitalia. Let's move. I can't believe I said that. Let's move up one more spot to Samuel Ryman. He's driving in the Global Sim Racing car, in that red white car there. He's currently running in 21st position. One more spot up. We go to the car number 95 in the Kim Vitar. He's a newcomer to the series in that red and white striped car there, just going through the right-hander. And we'll go to our last driver here. Well, I have time for maybe two more. Mihai Masison in the car number 83. Mihai is one of the IRT judges, and he'll actually be handling the reviews this week, so he'll get to decide on that Eklund, Mora, Yaman situation. And our last car, we'll go up to newcomer Craig McKenzie. He's currently running in 15th. He's running in 18th spot, just ahead of Mihai. An interesting note about Craig: he's one of the few human beings to ever be born on the continent of Antarctica. I'll find out more information on that one later. Back to you, Rich.
Thanks for that, Bill, and thank you for the salute. Now, back to you, Brian. What have you noticed while Bill was giving us all that information about the back markers?
Well, there's two things that I've noticed here. The first one being that Juris Jelenko is not giving up on Richard Eklund right now. These guys, he goes a little wide, coming up to the mountain straight. What I was going to say was they weren't making any mistakes, and that they were just going bumper to bumper, drafting each other. And then also up front, it looks like Thomas Szabo is also trying to catch back up with Yao Freitas. It looks like he closed that gap just a little bit, not enough to see if that the draft will be an effective tool here at this time, coming up into the mountain portion of the track. As I'm reading this right now, it looks like Ben Tucker is disconnected from the race, so his day might be done as well. Bill, I just wanted to comment that the debate we have here is getting very heated up here in the booth on the sex of Sky Willis, so thank you for clarifying that. We are all having a great laugh up here. Richard, back to the race.
I'm so sorry about that.
Well, that is certainly a first for GSRC, where we start talking about people's genitalia. I'm almost embarrassed about it, but hey, we're having a lot of fun as well, so I don't mind. You're quite correct. We're driving now with Tomas Szabo. He does appear to be catching, that's Yao Freitas ahead of him, so he does appear to be catching him a little bit. I can tell you that Tomas Szabo absolutely killed everybody at this track in the official races when they ran here last season. So it does not surprise me that he's giving up a good challenge as they go now through Forest Elbow. A great exit from Yao Freitas there, and Tomas Szabo cannot do anything about that as they come up on some slower traffic, and the traffic gets out of the way.
Whoa, big spin by Gareth Prentice right in front of the pack as they come through here. Sorry, Richard, to cut in. That was Gareth Prentice. He had a big spin right in front of Richard Eklund, and Juris Jelenko battling it out, coming down the Conrad straight. Luckily, Yao Freitas and Thomas Szabo both got through, but it looks like Jonathan No, it was Gareth Prentice. He's showing a huge amount of damage on the rear end of his car. I don't know if it was from the accident he just had or from previously in the race, but that was a very scary moment for the 4 drivers up front here in the race.
That's correct. He looks like he got really loose there. I wonder if he was watching his mirrors instead of the road in front of him. As we see Eklund now, sorry, I'm with Eklund and Uros Jelenko right now. Eklund went really wide, actually touched the fencing on the outside of the track, and now Uros Jelenko attacks him into Hell Corner and takes the position away from him, moves up into 3rd place. We have Richard Eklund coming back at him using the draft. He's right on his tail, and Uros Jelenko is playing a little bit defensive at this stage. Now he moves over to the left, inviting Richard Eklund to go to the right. Richard Eklund hasn't got enough pace to just catch him at this point in time. They are still one-on-one going up into Richard Eklund, backs it down just a little bit to make the corner into Griffiths Bend, and gives Uros Jelenko a breather there, Brian.
Yeah, and speaking of battles breaking out all over the track, right up here we're looking at Yaryanis and Amjad Yamin, I believe it is, and they both have been battling out for the last couple laps, and it looks like because Sergio Mora is kind of off in his zone, these 2 guys behind him are gonna catch up using the draft on these long straights, and maybe we'll see another 3-way battle coming out up here later in the race. Also, as far as Richard Eklund and Uros Jelenko goes, this battle has been amazing. It's very nice when we see clean racing on a hard, very difficult technical track like this, where positions are changing back and forth and no one seems to be touching each other. Richard, this is the kind of racing that we've come to know and love here in the MX-5 World Tour, and this has been a very exciting race, start to finish right now here in this race. Also, just to make a note right now, it looks like Joseph Arrow has also left the server, so unfortunately another driver will not be finishing today here at Bathurst Mount Panorama.
Well, you said it, Brian. When you have a bunch of great drivers such as we have in this series, and they all want to win this race, you are gonna have some really great racing. Going up to the front now, it looks like Tomas Szabo still following there, so we'll leave that alone for a little bit. Bill, what are you seeing?
Okay, I'm watching back here in Thomas Mack, so maybe Giancarlo can find us back here. See if I can find Thomas Mack right now. He was in a close battle with Simon Van Doon. We saw them earlier. Let me see if I can find him on my chart here.
It's Trevor Mack. Trevor Mack, Bill.
Trevor Mack is gone. I was just keeping an eye on him, and he was in a battle. Something must have happened. I'll go ahead and rewind and see if I can find it. I'll get back to you, Rich. I'll see what happened.
All right, we'll go back to the front where the battle is still on for 1st place. Tomas Szabo now right on the back of Jalfredis. Jalfredis doesn't have it all his own way. He's in the draft now, Brian, so we should see some action here soon.
Yeah, I think that will be the case. It looks like we have a back marker a little ways up the road. It's not going to be a factor quite yet. I'm not sure who it is right now. For some reason, my trading paints didn't load that skin, so I'll do a refresh and get back to you there. But I've just been thinking about this. If we do get into a situation where the lead cars are coming around to the back markers in the traffic, what do you do? Do you sit back and wait? Do you hope that the car pulls over in front of you? Because up here in the mountain tracks, the Mount Panorama, or the mountain portion of the track, there's not really anywhere to go to get out of the way, and you don't want to be that guy that's holding up the leaders. But at the same time, what do you do, Richard? What do you think's going to happen if we come into a traffic back marker kind of situation here?
Well, I can tell you what will happen. These guys will take no prisoners. They will blast past the back marker, and if they've got their microphone on, they will tell him that is what they are going to do, and hopefully the back marker will just get out of the way, because these guys are not hanging around. They are battling each other. Any back marker is just going to be an annoyance for them. So that's what I think will happen anyway, and these guys are very good drivers. They are not going to slow down significantly for a back marker. The battle is really on still for 1st place, folks. Jalfredis leading at the moment from Tomas Szabo. Richard Eklund is kind of out of it. He's got some damage on the back of his car. That is from hitting the fence on the exit from Murray's Corner on the previous lap. Uras Jelenko can see him, and Uras Jelenko can try and take that position from him. He closes up Uras under the draft, or in the draft I should say, going down Conrad Straight. They go through the chase now. Uras Jelenko closes right up on Richard Eklund, but Richard Eklund still has quite a turn of speed, so that battle is another one that we'll need to watch further down the track. And I'm getting information that we've had another blown engine. Who was that? As we see Richard Eklund going into the pits. Can somebody tell me who that was, please?
It was Yuri Yanis blew his engine. That's going to be a tough for him in the pits. So we have in the points. We have Eklund in the pits right now. Up front, we still have the same leaders. Let me go back and put a final chapter on the Eklund's on the Trevor Mack saga. What we talked about earlier with the walls, he went wide, he hit the wall, and he bounced right back in front of Overgaard. So Overgaard and Mack are both out of it. Let me go back to you, Rich.
Yes, and we just watched the two leaders passing Sky Willis. Sky Willis, Brian, what he did was he actually braked going up Mountain Straight, tapped his brakes a couple of times to indicate to the leaders that they should pass him on the right. And that is exactly the right thing to do when you see the fast guys coming up behind you.
Yeah, and I do think that is the right approach for a track like this. You don't want to hold up a battle that's just, raging on a whole race and then be that guy that's going to sit there and put an end to it. So the respect on the track here is a great thing, and I always like that about this series. We got good admins, we got good drivers with a good head on their shoulders, and they're all doing the right things to make this race as exciting as possible. With that note, it's great to see this battle up here in the front of the race. As you remember, last week, Yao Freitas didn't know what his approach coming into this race would be. He was kind of disheartened by the fact that he was a little stuck out in third place, but...
I got a break in. Sergio Moura going across the mountain, got loose, hit the wall, and he is in serious trouble, guys. In fact, he's taken the tow, so he is possibly out of this race.
That's very unfortunate.
So we are going to get a replay of that incident with Sergio Moura, but that was really not all his own fault. He had no help from anyone in that particular accident. And the guy who was following him, I believe, was Uras Jelenko. That would have been a scary moment for him as well, Bill.
Yeah, the biggest battle these guys are having are not with each other. It's with Bathurst. It's claiming these guys. I want to follow up on lap tracking. The policy of the IRT is you're supposed to hold your line and let the guys go around you. Now, if the leaders catch you in the twisty part of the section, the uphill, the downhill, through the dipper, they're supposed to wait. The lead lap cars have got to wait till it's safe to make the pass. So where you catch the lap cars is really going to be a very important part of how well you do in your lap time. Back to you, Rich.
Right, and we are now at a situation where the leaders and others are coming up on lap traffic, because this is a very long track. There's lap traffic at this point in time all over the place. We're on lap 19, I believe, now. We've had 53 minutes or thereabouts in the race thus far out of 75 minutes. I think it is an appropriate time, guys, to take a quick break, because within a short period of time we will certainly have these guys back in the pits once again. It might just be an appropriate time for us to take a break and catch our breath, guys. Welcome back, folks, to Mount Panorama in Bathurst, where we are seeing an absolute marvelous race. Some of the absolutely best guys in an MX-5 doing battle. At the moment, in the race, we have Tomas Szabo leading. Uros Jelenko is in second place and Joshua Lloyd's in third place. But these guys still have to have one more pit stop, Bill.
Yeah, we're going to keep an eye on our leader, Tomas Szabo. He has to come in for that pit. So really, it's a pit for the lead. He's on lap 21. We say he can go all the way to lap 24. So he's running hot laps right now. But the guy he's really trying to beat is João Freitas, who is 30 seconds behind him right now. But can Szabo come in, refuel, and get out within 30 seconds? We'll find out.
That is correct, bearing in mind that there's the entry time and the exit time that you have to add on to the pit stop as well. And these cars do not take a short time to put fuel in, so it's going to be very interesting to see where he comes out. But if he does the pit stop correctly, as João Freitas did, which was a brilliant pit stop, he should come out in second place, one would imagine. Brian, what are you looking at the moment?
Right now, I'm just kind of watching over Tomas Szabo. Hopefully, I don't give him the commentator's curse because he's having a great race as well. And I'm just kind of trying to figure out when he is going to go in and pit. As we saw right before the break, João Freitas dived into the pits, and it looked like he only went in and took a little bit of fuel. I don't think he took tires because he wasn't in very long. So it's going to be very interesting to see what his plans are. Is he going to try and stretch it out to the last minute and just go in for a quick splash and dash and get around the track maybe one or two more times? Or is he going to go in at the end of this lap and just try to do what Freitas did and get him enough fuel to get home at the end of the race? Like I was saying before we had that accident prior, just wanted to finish my thought. Both of these guys last week had results that were maybe not uncharacteristic of them, but they weren't maybe what they were hoping for. Tomas Szabo had a big off early in the race and lost a whole lot of time, but I don't think it really shook up his race plans too much, so it's great to see him up in the lead. And then we had João Freitas that was stuck in third place for most of the race because of an accident that happened when the Amjad Yaman battle took place. He got kind of cast off in no man's land, and he too is in first and second place throughout this race. So both of these guys are rebounding nicely and having these great consistent drives, which is really going to shake up the championship points. Also, talking about championship points, a lot of the bigger names in the series like Yar Yanis, Anthony Celentano, Steven Overgaard, even Sergio Mora are all having problems in this race and will not be collecting those top 5 points. So we might be seeing some kind of a shakeup next week and where everyone's to be ranked and if they go up and down the standings in the positions. Richard.
Yeah, that's correct. You know, I've been running through the field as you've been talking, and I'm looking at a whole bunch of cars. At the moment, Richard Eklund is who I'm watching. He's got damage on the right-hand side of his car. Amjad Yaman, a little way further back, he's got damage on the rear of his car. Timo Tulianen damaged as well. So we have information that Tomas Szabo has gone into the pits. Now we do want to watch this. Where is João Freitas? That is the key thing, Brian.
I'm looking for João Freitas right now, but let's see what kind of stop that Szabo has. It looks like Freitas is coming around just about to go onto the start-finish line, so maybe he's going to have more of a gap than Szabo would have really wanted. He's going to come out here with a huge run going up the mountain straight, and there's nothing Szabo can do because he is just sitting there with the pit limit speed.
He's just left the pits, but he's
just
way,
leaving, and
way
Freitas is coming
behind.
onto the straight right behind him. This is going to be an interesting battle as Freitas has had a chance to warm his tires back up, and Tomas Szabo is just coming out looking to get his speed back up. Richard?
Well, I made a mistake. I thought that João Freitas had actually passed him already, but that's not the case. Tomas Szabo is back in the lead. He now is going to get back up to pace. It is not that difficult because you do have a very long straight, but João Freitas is right on the back of him. Not enough to make a move just yet, Brian, but you can bet your bottom dollar with tires nice and warm We still have Tomas still getting his tires up to temperature. So this is going, the battle is on, and it's between these two. Who's behind them in third place? Richard Eklund showing at the moment behind them, but I don't think he's in third place. So very interesting battle going to develop for the lead there, Brian.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking here, we're on lap, I believe, 23 out of this 28 lap endurance here. There's not a lot of time left, so these guys have got to start thinking about, when do I start turning up the intensity and start getting a little more aggressive, or when do I just sit back and see what happens? Right now, coming down through the S's, looking at the Dipper, this is a corner that normally gets a lot of the weaker strength drivers, but not these two. They both coming through here unscathed, and this battle has been going on nonstop, just like this whole race. Both of these drivers must be exhausted. Right now, it looks like we're coming up on a back marker. I'm not quite sure who it is as the camera pans around. I believe it is Sky Willis. Sky Willis again finding the two heavyweights up front, coming right up in their mirror, and this is just going to be one of those interesting things, Richard, as we come down towards the chase.
Absolutely, and look, these guys, they're battling each other. Anybody who gets in their way, Sky Willis backs it down, goes right off onto the grass, gives them every opportunity to pass. It would have slowed them down just a fraction, because now Freitas is right on top of Tomas Szabo. Tomas Szabo! Too defensive. Freitas has turned him around. Tomas Szabo into the barriers there, and he's lost a lot of time. He has to cross over the pit entry to get back onto the track. He is back on the track now. He's got some damage. That was incredible and very unusual for some sort of contact to happen like that. But I think, Bill, if somebody can correct me, I just have a feeling that Tomas was playing it too cute there.
You know, I'm glad I'm not the IRT judge today. I am not even the appeals judge, so I can go ahead and give an opinion on this one. He was playing defensive, and he, to me, it looked like he just kind of ran Freitas off into the grass. So it's going to be a tough call for the IRT, but you know, if you're going to be defensive, you got to pick your line, you got to hold it. You can't move over once a guy gets there.
Well, that's right. Sorry, go ahead, Brian.
I was just saying, as we're watching this, I was kind of seeing if Yao maybe picked up some damage. I don't think that he has, but speaking of damage, there's just back markers all over up the mountain here. I think Yao Freitas might just run away with this one now, because there's such a big gap between him and Richard Eklund and Juris Jelenko. Unfortunately, Szabo lost a ton of time, but you know, the race is not over yet because of that kind of incident. You have to wonder, is Yao a little rattled? Is he a little concerned about what's going on? And now he's also having to worry about managing traffic. I think he might be the type of driver that doesn't so easily get shaken up, but at the same time, there's so much going on in the race as far as the intensity and the mindset here. Is his vision and his focus in the right place that he can finish this race on top? Richard.
Yeah, well, Yao Freitas, I don't think, if you want my opinion on that incident between himself and Szabo, I really do not think he can carry any blame there. Tomas Szabo just did not do the right thing there, unfortunately. Now, Richard Eklund is in second place. He has inherited second place because of the situation with Tomas Szabo. Tomas Szabo is now some 8 seconds back. Juris Jelenko is now into third place, but he is hunting down Richard Eklund as we speak, and in fact he's right on the back of Richard Eklund as we come into the S's going down towards Murray's Corner. What will happen here, Brian?
I'm not really sure anymore. There's so much going on the track right now that it's hard to say. You can't really make those kind of assumptions right now. It looks like Joshua Lloyds has gone into the wall twice in the last lap, so he's... Oh, yeah, but that was not good for Richard Eklund. He just went off wide and hit the wall. I don't know how much damage he's going to have from that kind of contact, but Juris Jelenko was looking all over the back of him. And to make matters worse, we have Sam Ryan, a back marker. He is coming up right in front of them. So now we got this battle going on with a damaged Richard Eklund, being followed by a very fast and consistent Uros Jelenko with backmarker traffic. Right behind him, we got Thomas Zabo and Amjad Yaman, both fighting for position. Watching this battle forming up ahead, can they manage the traffic, get through here safely as we come up in the quarry corner? This is one of these tracks where we're just running out of room here, and these guys better start using their head if they want to finish on top.
Well, I'll tell you what, that back marker, by the way, was Samuel Ryman, who's driving the GSRC car. Very embarrassing to see a GSRC car that far back. But be that as it may, the battle here is for second place, and it is between Uros Jelenko and Richard Eklund. Richard Eklund still has the second place. He's got damage. He's been into that very same fence coming off Murray's Bend, which is the last turn on this course, twice. So he's carrying some damage. Uros Jelenko, his car, for all intents and purposes, seems whole, but yet he doesn't seem to be catching Richard Eklund. But there's a genuine battle going on here for second place. Behind them, discounting Samuel Ryman at this point, we have Tomas Zabo. So Tomas Zabo, even with the problem that he had, is still in fourth place, Bill. So still very much in the race, but I don't think he'll be contending for the win tonight.
No, I think that was a serious damage from the contact when he was up front. I don't know if you can quietly finish second, but Eklund is doing it. Every time we go to him, he's in 8th, he's in 7th, he's in 6th. He knocked a few cars out of the way to get up to 4th, and now he's moved up to 2nd place. But I really think that the man stalking him has really got his number. His cars, Jelenko's car is in pristine condition, and I think with the draft on the long straights, Uros is just waiting for the right time.
Yes, that is quite possible, and that will be for second place. I must say, though, Bill, that this is a very smart move from Uros Jelenko. There's no point in putting all your marbles into the ring straight away, because then you give the draft to the car following you. So bearing in mind, we are now just finishing off lap 25, going into lap 26, so 3 whole laps left. That's about 12 miles of racing still to go. We know that Jan Freitas has basically flown the coop. He's way ahead of these two at this point in time. He's half of Mountain Straight ahead of these two. Eklund in second place has to worry about Uros Jelenko. So Brian, if you're Uros Jelenko, what are your thoughts? What would you be doing?
You're not going to like this answer, but we're on lap 26 and we're running out of time here. We did see Richard Eklund hit the wall here, so if I'm Uros Jelenko, I'm thinking, is he going to try and drive overly aggressive if I go to pass him? And if he does, what kind of shape is his car in? Is this going to be one of those things where, he tries to just give you some room and be defensive and then just not have the grip because of any damage? Or is it going to be one of those things where he just lets you go knowing that he has the damage and will probably lose that spot anyways? It's hard to say at this point. But at the same time, I'm thinking if I'm Uros Jelenko, I'd take this very conservatively and wait for the downside of the mountain on the long straight to try and make a move, because right now, up here in the mountain, this is not the time or place to make that kind of pass.
Okay, now I see a battle going on here, guys. It is between Amjad Yaman and Tomas Zabo. Amjad Yaman has got some damage, but it doesn't seem to have done his speed, made any difference to his speed, I should say. Tomas Zabo going down the hill, his car wiggling all over the place, but he still holds it together. Amjad Yaman, who's been a really, really good form this whole season so far, all the races that we've seen him in, stalking him at this point in time, hoping to take that 4th place away from him. Amjad is doing well in the point standing, Bill, so if he can get into 4th place, that'll help his cause as well.
Yeah, that's Amjad's strategy, is 5th place, 4th places. He's going to get up there. Keep an eye on that race. Let's have Giancarlo take us back to Timo Tuliainen. Let's see if we can set places 6 through 10 real quick. Timo Tuliainen in the Eagles Nest car, running there in 6th place. Behind him is Jake Tucker in the pink Pepto-Bismol car. Behind him is Doljan Boljan running in 8th. 9th place is in that incredibly boring gray Thomas Torp, having a good finish for Thomas Torp in 9th. And rounding out the top 10 is George Fike. Back to you.
Well, let's go back to the Zabo battle because I believe that is where the action is. Amjad Yaman right on top of him. Very interesting. So Tomas must have got some damage from that contact with the wall, one would imagine. Amjad Yaman has got damage, so these are both wounded cars. And what we want to do here is watch this battle because it is intense. They've just gone through Hell Corner. They're going up the mountain towards Griffin's Bend. There's some lap traffic in front of them. This is for all the marbles, guys, lap number 27, second last lap of the race. They go past, I believe that might be Jonathan Keir. The Amjad on the outside, it's not the best place to try and pass, and certainly not on the outside, although we know Amjad is known for trying to pass on the outside. Now he goes to the outside once again. Perhaps it is just Brian, it is just Tomas that is playing the defensive role at this point.
I think this is more of playing a mind game right now than it is trying to actually pass. He's trying to make himself look really big and clear in the back mirrors of Thomas Zabo. He's been doing this for the last lap and a half. I noticed he sticks his nose out and then he tries to, pull forward a little bit, then he backs off, and as you can see, he's even doing it again in this very tricky technical part of the track. I think he should probably tone it down just a little bit so he doesn't overdo it. I know he's trying to get in Thomas Zabo's head, but at the same time, he has to think, hey, I got to finish this race if I want to get any points, and he's not going to get any points if he does something stupid here. We have a lot of back markers still kind of filtering through as we see a car go off on the left. I did not catch who that was. I believe it
Joshua Lloyds.
Yeah, it'd be Joshua Lloyds. And they come down into Forest Elbow. Richard, this is an intense battle. It's been going on all race, and I am just excited to see how this one ends.
Yeah, that battle is going on. We've just got information from our spotters that Richard Eklund has put a little bit of distance between himself and Uros Jelenko. Not much, as Uros closes back up, going down Conrad Straight. As they approach the chase, he's right on the back now. Richard Eklund has been known to foul up in Murray's Corner. Will it happen again this time? Will Uros have the opportunity to try a pass? This is the last lap coming up, folks. So it is all or nothing right now for these guys. All of them experienced drivers, all of them fast drivers, all of them great drivers. As Uros Jelenko car wiggles under braking, a much better exit from Richard Eklund. So that battle is on. Tomas Zabo, Amjad Yaman, what is happening there? Still the same thing, and we are talking about the first 5 spots that they are vying for there, Brian.
Looks like Amjad Yaman's looking outside, but again pulls back in behind Thomas Zabo. He's just looking for a spot to pass now. He knows that he's coming on to his last chances here. If he gets up in the mountain chance, it might be all over, or the mountain section, it might be all over. So he's going to probably try and make a risky move here up at the top of the hill. We'll find out for a fact if he does or not. And then after that, of course, he has the one chance coming down the back straight. Here he goes. He tries to go out wide. Will he make it? I don't know if he has enough room. They're going side by side into the corner. It looks like Thomas Zabo is going to take the inside line and hold on to his position for now. Unfortunately, that will be one of his last chances to get him here on this part of the track. As we come up to this one more tight corner, let's see what he does, and he will not get it. Richard, he's running out of time. I don't think he's going to get it.
Okay, and back to the battle between Uros Jelenko and Richard Eklund. That battle is a little bit of a non-event at this point, but still a lot of track to go before the end of this race, as we see Uros Jelenko going across the mountain on the back of Richard Eklund. Richard Eklund still holding on to second place, Uros Jelenko in third place. They go across Skyline, they go now down towards the Dipper, and through the S's they go. Richard Eklund really good through here. So is Uros Jelenko. Into the Dipper they go. Oh, beautiful exit from Eklund through the Dipper there. Now they go down towards Forest Elbow. Last chance. Oh, and Uros Jelenko closes right up. What's happening with the Amjad Yaman Tomas Zabo battle there, Brian?
Szabo's doing everything he can to get away, but I think because of his little off he had earlier, he's just having every difficulty that he can possibly have right now. Amjad Yaman's running out of time. He's leaning inside just a little bit. I don't think he's going to try and make a passing maneuver. If he does, I'm guessing it's going to be on the inside. It doesn't look like he's going to have the room here. Let's see what happens. He's pulling alongside of Thomas Szabo. He's going for it. I think this will be his last chance to make a pass. He takes the position. And he is holding on for every inch. It's not there completely yet as Thomas Szabo goes back inside. Unfortunately, he's lost the position. This battle is going crazy here.
Got to cut in. We have Jan Freitas finishing the race, taking the last corner, crossing the start-finish line. Jan Freitas wins this race. Back to you, Brian.
Right now, it looks like Amjad Yaman is looking desperate here. I don't think he's going to get him. He goes out wide. This is going to be a very close finish as the cars up ahead are doing their pattern and spin. And Amjad Yaman does not get the position. He just slowed down and let Thomas Szabo have it.
And what happened between Uros Jelenko and Richard Eklund? I was unable to watch that while I was watching Jan Freitas finishing.
Eklund held off and took second place. Jelenko has third. It looks like Timo Tuliana is going to come across in sixth, with Jake Tucker in seventh, Duljan Boljan in eighth. Ninth is Thomas Torp, and we go back to 10th. We have a battle here for 10th and 11th between George Fike and Benjamin Lanouette. Let's see if Giancarlo can follow us down there. We got a great battle as they go down the downhill straight of the Conrad Straight, and moving to the inside is going to be Lanouette, and he holds off his position. Fike's behind him. They're going to come down. They're going to have 2 corners left. Actually, I think that battle's going to be pretty much done, as I think the passing opportunity is going to be done. And it looks like Fike is going to finish up in 11th. I don't want to speak too soon. And there is 11th, or 10th is going to be Fike, and 11th is going to be Benjamin Lanouette.
And George Fike nearly loses it coming around that corner, going down towards Murray's, which is the final turn. Benjamin Lanouette, gets away with this one if he can clear the first, which he does. He clears the last corner and takes that position, which in fact is 10th place. So a great finish from him. George Fike in 11th. Going further back, what else can we see there, Brian?
I'm actually just looking at the Benjamin Lanouette. That was quite the battle coming down the last hill here, Richard. It looks like a lot of the cars are finishing up, so we'll just kind of scroll back. Let's see if Bill got anything for you.
No, I think they're pretty well good. All the lead lap cars are in now, so I think we've covered the top 10. So we'll go back to you, Rich.
Okay, well, there are still guys that are finishing. I'm going back yet to Sky Willis of the Unknown Genitalia, and we see that he is finally, or she is finally approaching Murray's Corner, the last of the corners, and will finish this race with a damaged car. So, guys, an absolutely wonderful, marvelous, absolutely flabbergasted by the skill of the top 5 or 6 drivers. And Sky Willis almost didn't finish the race. He had to turn the car around, and now he does, or she does, finish. So great race, guys. We are going to take a break and let the rest of the finishers do their thing. And when we come back, we're going to have some interviews for you. So over to you, Mr. Director. Take us to a break. Welcome back to Mount Panorama, folks, where we saw a great race and some very funny commentary from all our commentators here. We had a lot of fun. What we want to do first is take you through the standings as they finished. So I'll start with the first few, Bill, and you can follow on from me. So the winner today was Yao Freitas. Second was Richard Eklund. Uras Jelenko in third place. Tomas Zabo finished in fourth place. Amjad Yaman in fifth place. Timo Tulianen, a quiet race for him, in sixth place. Jake Tucker in seventh. Dujon Baldwin, who we hardly spoke about during the broadcast, finished in eighth. Thomas Torp, great race, in ninth place. And Benjamin Lanowet finished a great 10th place. Over to you, Bill.
And 11th is George Fike in that battle that we covered there with Lanowet. Fike is 11th. 12th is Mihai Masison. 13th is Kim Vitar. That's a good finish for him. 14th, Arthur Chan. 15th is Samuel Ryman. 16th, Joshua Leutz. 17th, Sky Willis. Now, the controversy still rages on Sky. Now the theory is Sky is actually a female. And I'm just going to move on before I get myself in any more hot water. 18th is Simon Van Doon. 19th is Anthony Celentano. And 20th is Craig McKenzie. Let me just wrap out the rest of the field here since Brian doesn't have this. 21st is Jonathan Kerr. 22nd, Stefan Overgaard. Garth Prentice. Sergio Mora. That's a tough finish for him. He had some trouble. Yuri Yanis, another tough finish for him. Trevor Mack, that's not good. Ben Tucker. Sam McAleer, not good, in 28th spot. Reno Tani in 29th, Joseph Aro in 30th. Oki Stokenberger, who had hardware problems. No, we know what the story is on Oki Stokenberger. A traveling salesman came to the door and rang the doorbell and confused him, and that's when he hit the wall. So there's a new one you can add to the things not to do. 32nd is Steve Tingle, and 33rd in the Welcome In car, one of our sponsors, which we will get some air screen time soon, was Tom Rathie. Back to you, Rich.
Thanks, Bill. Now, we do have some interviews for you. We are trying a different format tonight. We've got everybody in the booth at the same time, but we do want to have a conversation with Amjad Yaman first. So, Bill, would you like to chat with Amjad Yaman?
Okay, so everybody's here, so you guys can all hear me, or is it just Amjad?
Everyone can hear you.
Oh, that's exciting. I should ask something controversial to get the blood boiling, but let's keep it simple. Amjad, you had a nice fifth place finish. That's kind of your modus operandi there, where you fifth place, fourth places. I'm just going to ask you the standard question. How was your race?
It was good. Could have been better. I mean, I think I had the pit strategy down, but in that second stint, I got tapped from behind, lost a bunch of time. Yeah, fifth is nice, but I should have been at the top today.
Yeah, you were you were running about fifth when that happened. You were ahead of Sergio Mora, and then Richard and Eklund, Mora, and you all got involved in a accident. Was your car damaged after that? Because I know you were in a nice battle there for your position.
Yeah. Hang on, I'm sorry. Someone's trying to talk with me. Yeah, my car was a little bit damaged. It lost a little bit of top speed, but man, the Child's Play pit crew on that second stop, they fixed that car back up, back up to top speed, and tried to fight Tomas at the end, but just didn't have enough.
I have one last question for you. The last 3 races, you've been in close battles at the end, and actually the last 2 races where you got tangled up with Yuri Yanis. Was that in your mind when you were fighting Zabel for that position this time? Were you taking it extra careful, or were you just going your usual way?
Yes and no. I mean, like I said before, I was called in the principal's office twice in 2 weeks, so that was in the back of my mind. But I still wanted the position. Just wasn't enough.
Okay, it was a good race for me. Another 5th place. Let me throw it back to our next interview.
Okay, and we've got Richard Eklund in here as well. We want to talk to Richard Eklund. Now, Richard, a great finish there in second place. You looked a little uncomfortable at times, particularly on the last turn there where you hit the wall a couple of times. But you still pulled off that second place. Great racing.
Yeah, considering my relationship with the track, it was a very good finish. I have very little practice on this track, and I was considering not even racing. But I put together a good lap in qualifying, so I figured I would be fast enough to race and not be a danger on the track. But following with my fashion of the previous 2 races, I took somebody out, and I'll be getting a penalty, so that's nice.
Well, that was mentioned during the broadcast, but Bill Zahn said that he's not on the IRT, so he's keeping a blind eye to whatever's occurred on the track. Somebody else will have to make that decision. Still, Richard, a very good finish from you in second place. You had to fight hard with Uros Jelenko to hang on to that position. Great finish, great racing from both of you guys. That is it. We will wrap it up there. Thank you for talking to us. And now, Brian, we'll get you to talk to the winner of this race, Yao Freitas.
Yao, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Brian.
Congratulations on your win there, Yao. It was a great race. We saw a lot of drama all over the track. We were talking about in the keys of the race that to win a race here, you got to stay off the wall and battle the attrition factor, where we saw a bunch of cars blowing engines and just getting all sorts of trouble. So what was your mindset coming into a track like this today?
Yeah, I was focused in getting off the walls today and taking care of my gearbox because I blew one engine in the practice. So I had a warning about that. So it was a very difficult race for sure.
It seemed like there was some drama out there on the track today with you and Thomas Szabo. Can you explain what happened down there from your point of view? And do you think it was just a racing deal, or do you think there was something more to it?
Yeah, we were lapping a back marker in the chicane, so Thomas had a bad exit. I thought he was going in his normal line, and then I went to the inside. After I went to the inside, he went to the left, trying to stop me for overtaking him. So I think the fault is on him, but we never know. Let's see. I will do it again.
We best just leave it to the IRT judges, I guess. The question on everyone's mind is, how do you think of the new build? Apart from the iRacing servers that seem to be acting up, what do you like about the new tire model additions? Do you think that's affected everyone's race? Do you think it's made them better, worse? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think the new tire model is very good, at least in the MX-5 and the Radical. These were the 2 cars that I tried. But I was expecting a little bit more of tire wear on the tires because I ran the 1 hour and a quarter with the same tires. So I don't think that's supposed to happen. I don't know.
All right, one last question for you. I believe next week, I could be wrong, but I believe next week is at Road Atlanta. Is that a track you particularly liked, and are you looking forward to this? What's your mindset going into next week there, Yao?
Yeah, I like Road Atlanta. I have quite a bit of practice there, so I think this will be a good one for me. Let's see.
Well, congratulations on your win, Yao. It's always great to watch a race with some of these big names out here. Race to the MX-5 World Tour is great to have you. Thanks for having this little conversation with us. I'm going to go back up to Richard. We're going to wrap this broadcast up. Thanks to everyone for coming down and being part of this interview session, and have a good weekend.
And thank you for that, Brian. I just want to have a few words with our GSRC representative in this race, Samuel Ryman. Samuel, a good finish from you in this race, 15th place, nothing to scoff at in the company you were racing with. What were you seeing from outside your window?
Well, honestly, like a lot of the other drivers, I think I expected a little bit more excitement on the first lap, and I was pleasantly surprised to see that that wasn't the case. I was talking to Arthur Chan and Stefan Overgaard before the race, and I was saying, I'm not worried about making my own mistakes, I'm worried about cars in front of me crashing. Turned out about 3 laps in, it was complete opposite. I overshot one of the corners, got in the wall, and but was still able to salvage a 15th place finish. Would have got 14th had I not ran out of gas. You're welcome, Arthur Chan. And what else was I going to say onto that? I would have got top 10 had I not put it in the wall, but I can't do back time, and I got 15th in my first ever MX-5 World Tour race, so I'll take another 15th.
All right, thanks for talking to us, Samuel. Well, folks, it's almost a pity. This has been such a pleasure to call this race, but it's come to an end, and as we normally do at the end, we wish to thank a number of people and organizations for bringing this race to you. So we thank Cozy Cabins, Eagle Nest Tavern, and the Welcome Inn Bed and Breakfast for their sponsorships in this series. We appreciate them greatly. For more information about Green Valley Lake, which is the best kept secret in California's San Bernardino Mountains, please visit www.green-valley-lake.com. We also thank Bill for your never-ending work in organizing this league and your very funny comments on genitalia. We also thank iRacing.com, XSplit, Twitch TV, Audio Technica, and Ava Media for providing the software and the hardware that we use for these broadcasts. Thanks also to the broadcast team today, Brian, Bill, Giancarlo, and myself, Richard Losper. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, our website is www.globalsimracingchannel.com. There you will find all our broadcasts and the schedule along with archived races and race highlights. You can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Global Sim Racing Channel, also on Twitter at GSR Channel. A very special thank you to our music makers, Eric Ekholm, who provides us with some great music. You can find it here on GSRC, but also on TV commercials, movie trailers, iTunes, and Spotify. If you like the music, please tell Eric where you heard it at ericekholm.com. Thanks also to Casey Lalonde, who provides us with the highlight videos music. You can find more of his music at caseylalonde.bandcamp.com. The next race in this series will be next week at Road Atlanta on the 8th of February at the very same time of 1900 UTC. The next broadcast will be the Roof Euro Cup tomorrow, Sunday, the 2nd of Feb at 1950 UTC. That's around about the same time as now. It'll feature the roof track at the Zandvoort Grand Prix circuit. Until then, folks, race hard, race safely, and we'll see you on the track.